Well, I'm about to go through the US border now. Unfortunately, today I'm not so lucky. It doesn't look like I have a... Normally I get here, when I leave in the mornings early, I miss most of the traffic and I spend only about 10-15 minutes sitting at the border. It looks like today it's going to be a little bit more. It's funny when you go to the border, you know, going from Canada to the US through the border. It's like, it's so different, all right? When you go from the US to Canada, it's like, dude, they check you and they check in the car, back of the car sometimes, and why are you going, where are you going, very strict, and like you have to have this I-94 and every 6 months you got to renew it, and if they just like they occasionally just send you out and search your car, and they have dogs, and it's like you know, it's like it's a serious check. It's almost like they are trying to catch people. They're really doing their best. It's hard, you know. They're very strict and very, like, dare I say, unfriendly. Because, you know, the US border guards are very rarely friendly. They're always like, why are you here? Why are you coming here? What are you doing here? Blah, blah, blah. And then when you come from the US into Canada, you get in and the guy's like, hey, how's it? Where are you going? Yeah, I'm going home. Oh, okay, cool. Where do you live? What have you bought? Oh, no, it's fine. Yeah, sure, go. You know, no dogs, no serious stress, no nothing. They're just like friendly and helpful. I mean, so much so that one day I came through with a bunch of books. I had books that was delivered to my US address and I needed them in Canada. Yeah, let me tell you the two stories. So I had the books that was delivered to my US address and I needed them in Canada. So technically I need to import them, but I mean, it's like, and pay import taxes, which is only GST, it's 5%. It's not a lot. It's not a major issue, but it's a shitload of paperwork. You literally have to, I mean, it's a pain in the ass. And because it was delivered in the US, I need to now create new documents to bring them across and new invoices. It's just a crap load of unnecessary paperwork. So I drove through to the US, I picked up the books, and I thought, shit, I'm just going to wing it. I'm just going to get to the border and go through. Now, I think they have a thing, if the stuff that you bought in the US is less than $900, you can bring it through. It's fine. You don't have to do the import thing. You don't have to do anything. So I arrived back at the border with the whole car, this whole car, the seats flat, boxes of books. I mean, it was probably about $4,000 or $5,000 worth of books. So I arrive at the border, I pull up, and the guy's like, hey, where did you go? I go, well, I had to go and fetch these books. They were delivered to the wrong address. They were delivered to my US address, and it was actually supposed to come to Canada, and now I have to drive and go and fetch them. So the guy is, what's the value of this? So I'm like, oh, you know, I mean, I'm not going to lie to him. I'm like, oh, it's about $3,000-$4,000. I am making it sound a little bit less, but well knowing that anything over 900 needs to actually go through the whole process. So I'm like, yeah, it's about $3,000-$4,000. So the guy looks at me, he goes, you know what, I actually need to send you in there and you need to go and do the paperwork, but that's going to take 3 or 4 hours. I'm like, yeah, I know. He's like, yeah, next time make sure they don't deliver the books to the wrong address. Off you go. Friendly people, nice people. So yeah, that's the thing with the Canadian side. On the US side, another little tale about books. So I had the launch of Innovate Vancouver last year, and I basically needed books for the launch. Now the book wasn't printed, it wasn't finished. So what the guys did is they did 10 digital copies for me, just 10 copies printed digitally, and they shipped it. But now this printer of mine in Bogota, they mess it up because I've got 2 addresses, and for some reason they randomly send stuff to the US address. Also, it is quicker to the US because from Colombia to the US through Miami it is just quicker. So we were in a rush. They sent the books to my mailbox in the US. So me and Connor popped through the morning to come and fetch the books. Drive through because I needed it for the launch that evening. So I get to the border on the US side. The guy says, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "Oh, well, I'm just going to go here to my mailbox. I need to pick up these 10 books. I mean, like, it's friendly conversation. I'm a friendly guy. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just going to pick up the books for my launch tonight." He's like, "Oh, no, you got to go inside." I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "I've got my I-94. He says, "No, you got to go inside." So I go in the office. It's very early. It was 6 a.m. in the morning. I tried to skip all of the traffic. And I'm in there and I'm like, "Hey, what is, I don't know why I'm being sent in, but I'm here now." So the guy says, "What are you going to be doing?" I'm like, "Well, I'm just going in to pick up these books for my launch tonight." The guy says, "Oh, then you're going through for commercial reason and you have to pay $12.48 or something." I'm like, what do you mean commercial reasons? He's like, "Well, you picking up books for a book launch and you are selling books, so that's commercial reasons." I'm like, and there's no arguing, you know. It's the thing is, it's like, well, it's easy. You either pay the you either pay the fees now because now it's a commercial reason, or we turn you around and that's it. And the guy is just like bombastic and rude and not, you know, it's just like, was like, "How often do you do this?" And I didn't even know what he was talking about at the time. I was like, because I didn't get what he was going on about. It just didn't make sense. So I thought he was asking, how often do I come and pick up mail? So I go, "Yeah, once every 2-3 weeks I come through to pick up mail." He's like, "Yeah, no, then you must pay for all of that." I'm like, what are you even talking about? It's like, and eventually he still made me pay for that trip. And then he's like, "I'm putting on your record here, from now on we're going to check you. And if you go for commercial reasons and you don't pay, we're going to, you know," like, it's just very threatening. So that's the difference between the US border and the Canadian border. The Canadian border guys are a lot more friendly and nice.